Good morning.
Celebrate good times, come on. Celebrate good times, come on. Celebrate good times, come on.
Who else?
Celebrate good times, come on. Celebrate good times, come on. Let's celebrate.
Microphone glitch. Hi. I'm Bobby Crotty, and I'm the education minister here. And the Board of Regents who just paraded in holding the balloons, as you might have guessed from all this excitement, we're having a party. We're celebrating, and we're inviting all of you. So what are we celebrating, you might ask, which is a pretty good question. And we're celebrating the changing of the name of our education center. As of today, May 1st, 2016, we are officially known as Creative Living University. And we have the tagline, let us help you do life. This name change from the Minx Education Center to Creative Living University has been given the blessing of Dr. Leonard Minx. And in first service, he was here, we gave him a standing ovation. We're so grateful to both Dr. Leonard and Teddy, our founders, for setting us on the path to our excellent education program. Education has always been their passion, and we love and appreciate them for all that they have done. So why the name change, you might ask? Well, one of the core spiritual practices here at CLF is visioning. And in November, the Board of Regents did a visioning for 2016. One of the main themes that arose from that visioning was to look at everything with new eyes and to expand our consciousness. Out of that visioning came our new name, Creative Living University. Changing our new name caused us a big, deep breath, as you can well imagine. And the realization that by using the name Creative Living University, we are identifying as one with CLF. The word university takes us to a whole new academic level. We are making a statement. We are expanding our consciousness. So today we unveil our new name and we celebrate. And we want you to join with us. So what will this mean to you? Well, number one, we have a new logo. Whoop, there we go. With much gratitude to Reverend Lonnie for the design. Yeah. We have a new website. Again, thanks to Reverend Lonnie. And you can navigate to it now from the CLF home site. There's a link there. Pretty soon, you'll begin to see some new signage around the buildings. And we are increasing our electronic presence by installing 2 new TVs in our education center with Wi-Fi, so our instructors can expand their presentations. We will slowly be changing all our printed materials, and we will continue to offer exceptional classes. We will still offer paths to becoming a spiritual life coach or a minister. We will still offer our baccalaureate, master's, and doctorate programs. And pretty soon, we will officially roll out a new program entitled the Life Transformation Series. The official description of that program is Creative Living University's Life Transformation Program consists of short classes and workshops that are relevant to our common needs and aspirations and provide students with the tools and skills to live a transformed life. These offerings will open your heart to experience profound love and joy and help make your dreams manifest. Let us support you in taking these transformative principles into your everyday life. We're really excited about this new program. So actually, you may not have realized it, but we're already offering some classes that fit into this series. And one of the things in the planning stages are shorter classes and workshops given by subject matter experts. You could be one of them. Are you a computer or financial wizard? Or do you have a skill and want to share your knowledge? If so, come and talk with us. We have on the Board of Regents a subject matter expert who advises us, Marla Haar. Marla, stand up so everybody can recognize you. Marla teaches at ASU. Her expertise is in soft business skills and communications. One of her offerings on self-esteem is scheduled for this summer. So what is the big vision that came out of our visioning for the Board of Regents and Creative Living University? And what are we creating by our mission? The vision is reaching within and beyond the walls of CLF. Creative Living University is a catalyst for co-creating a world of personal and collective harmony, health, peace, and prosperity. Wow, that's a big vision that your Board of Regents is holding. Our mission is by providing deep learning and expansive spiritual experiences, Creative Living University supports and complements CLF's endeavor of opening hearts and incubating dreams. Sound familiar? It is the intention of the Board of Regents Creative Living University to expand our consciousness, embrace our value and diversity, and celebrate our students' successes. I would like to recognize and express deep gratitude to the Board of Regents. If they would stand to be applauded. Yeah. These are the folks that are holding the vision. And I'd also like to recognize and give gratitude to any of our faculty members that are here. Would you please stand? Most of them are on the Board of Regents. For they have the dedication to the core values of education instilled in us by our founders, the Minks. Without them, none of this would be possible. So we're celebrating, and we ask you to join with us. We are now creating Creative Living University. Rock on. And so as with any party, there's always cake. So after the service, join us for cake in the Holmes Hall. And now I believe Dr. Michele would like to say a few words.
I don't need that. So it is an exciting day. It is an exciting month for us here at CLF as we roll out Creative Living University and as we bring Greg Brayton here in, let's see, what time is it? In 12 days, 21 hours and about 45 minutes he will be here. But who's actually counting? Not me. So it's an exciting month, and I decided to blend those two things, the creation of CLU and Greg Braden being here, to make the combination of those two things the theme for our month. So the theme for the month is entitled, Let Us Help You Do Life. Or doing life. That's the theme for this month. And so we'll be looking every single Sunday about how to apply these beautiful science of mind teachings to specific areas in life. And then starting next Sunday, we're going to bring in a book from Greg Braden, which is The Secrets of the Lost Mode of Prayer. There are 5 secrets, and so we're going to be looking at his 5 secrets of the lost modes of prayer, combining that with our science of mind principles to look at life and how do we do life in various areas. So that's the lay of the land for the next month. Today, we are looking at the doorway of transformation that spiritual education can provide if you choose to walk through it. We're going to hear today from a couple of people who have done just that, and you're going to hear their stories to illustrate and to give examples of what I want to talk about today. So the first thing I want to do, 3 things today. One, I want to just lay a little groundwork, and then I'm going to answer 2 questions that have been posed by you when we did our little survey in January about what do you want to talk about and what do you want to hear, answering 2 of those questions this morning. So a little bit of foundation is, and I've discussed this before, but we need to hear it again today. And this idea of doing life, how do I do life? There are 2 definitions for life. One of them has a lowercase l and one of them has a capital L. The lowercase l life is this human life, this experience in life, this journey with its peaks and its valleys, with its joys and its sorrows, with its ups and its downs, with its adventures and with its doldrums, with its election years and its non-election years, right? This human life that can look like a little roller coaster now and then. Regardless of our perspective or our attitudes or our beliefs about life, we will all have a life. We will have a life, and it'll run from 0 to, I don't know, let's say 150. How's that? That sounds about good. Maybe not. We won't last quite that long, but 0 to well into our hundreds we're going to live, right? So we are going to have a life. But our perspective, our beliefs, and our attitudes, and what they are will have a profound impact on the quality of that life. Our perspectives, our attitudes, our values will have a profound impact on how our life is lived and how we do life. So are we doing life with the full amount of ease and joy and abundance and peace and love and prosperity and purpose that we want? Or is there more? Is there something on your heart that says, no, there's even yet a greater way to express this life. There's more that I want to do and experience and be, and there's a purpose that I haven't quite yet gotten to. If you're answering those questions, and I actually think if you're breathing, I don't want to say you should be, because I don't like shoulding on people or on myself. We don't like to do that. But if we're breathing, we really are. There is always an urge to express a greater level of livingness, because the divine is always wanting to express more fully through us. So we're here to help with life, lowercase l. But the bigger idea, the uppercase L life, is what really matters. The uppercase L life is the all life, the infinite life, another word for God, spirit, source. That life and our connection to life, capital L, absolutely impacts the way we live this life, lower L. Ernest Holmes in the Science of Mind textbook writes, and before I read this, I want to remind you that when he capitalizes, puts something in all caps, he really, really wants us to get it. And there's a line in here that is all capped, and I'll tell you when it comes. But just remember, this is Ernest going, pay attention to this. This is critically important. All right, I'll tell you when we get there. But Holmes writes in the Science of Mind textbook, life, capital L, is one perfect wholeness. The universe is a unit. God is one. All caps. It is impossible for us to feel separated from the Spirit without feeling lost and in want. Let's say that again. It is impossible for us to feel separated from the Spirit without feeling lost and in want. So when we don't have a spiritual path, when we're not practicing principles like this, when we're not moving forward through that doorway of transformation, through classes and reading and things, we can tend to feel separate from God. It's real easy for us in our human ups and downs, hills and valleys, peaks and all that, sorrows and joys, for us to forget and to feel separate. But we can't feel separate without feeling in want and lost. All right, so let me continue then. That subtle something which runs through all things and which we call the thing itself, the energy without which nothing can be energized, the life without which nothing can live, the power without which nothing can move, and the spirit without which nothing can be, is God. It is only as we live in conscious union with the Spirit and consciously let it work through us that we really live. So our focus this month is to live in conscious union with life, capital L, as we do various aspects of life, lowercase l. Today again, talking about the doorway of transformation that we can walk through to do life. As we do that, I want to now focus on two questions that were asked in January. The first one is this, and this is about doing life. The question was, is there a statement or a belief or principle that you draw from when you forget who you are? Is that a great question? Thank you for, actually, the person who asked it was in first service. Because when we were all done with it, and I said, I hope whoever asked that question that answered it. And a person was sitting here going, it did. So, but I want you all to get the answer because it's such a great question. Again, is there a statement of belief or principle that you draw from when you forget the truth of who you are? Well, I will offer some thoughts on that. But before I do, I want to invite someone forward who absolutely did not know the truth of who she is and let you hear from her and a little bit of her journey. Will you please welcome Diana Darrell? You're welcome.
Good morning, CLF. All my life, I felt unworthy and unlovable. And so I lived my life in just that way. I turned my back on that judgmental, punishing, far-off, bearded man in the sky. I didn't want any part of that God. I lived most of my adult life doing harm to myself. Always thought that I was only hurting myself. And most of my relationships resulted in domestic violence. And when I wasn't in relationships, I turned to drugs and alcohol. I even started smuggling illegals and drugs. And in 2007, I was convicted of drug trafficking and was sentenced to 3 years in prison, 5 years probation. While in prison, I took the residential drug alcohol program, and it taught me then that I could change my thinking. But it was just a little bit, but I knew it could be done. And I wasn't, the old way wasn't really working out for me, and I definitely didn't want to go back to prison. So I chose to relocate here in Phoenix, and because of the program, I only did my sentence a year and a half, and I was out. I didn't have to do the full 3 years. So that was a good thing. And then I stayed here in Phoenix, and I didn't know a soul. I was kind of scared and afraid, and I started going to AA because I didn't know what else to do without the drugs and alcohol and the smuggling, the criminal activity. It was really hard, but it got me thinking, and it helped me to stay focused. I'm going to have 10 years in June of recovery. And I used AA as my church for a long time. And then I found this little flyer with a butterfly. They used to have a butterfly for creative living. And then I said, I'm going to find out what this is all about, because I really like butterflies. So I started coming off and on to the church. And my old survival behavior was like, oh, you don't really fit in here, was always trying to get me. But I loved Reverend Michelle's message that day. It just opened something inside me. And then I took her foundations class, and I used to just sit real quietly so they won't pick on me to, response. I wouldn't really hardly talk. I think the only time I really did was at the end when we did our project. So But it opened that something, and I wanted more. I wanted what all of you people had, and so I started taking classes, little by little. It was hard. Sometimes I wanted to quit, but the teachers were really inspiring, and they would always say, there's never any wrong answer. Whatever it is for you, that's the answer. And they always just encouraged me to keep coming. So I just love this place because I really feel accepted and loved, which at first I kept waiting for the other shoe to drop. But, and I finally became a member. and it's really, the classes have really helped me to find my true, authentic self as a divine spiritual being. I love CLF a lot. I love all the people here. They're really accepting, and thank you.
Believe me, that is not the woman that sat in the foundations class. She did not say one word the entire class, except for at the end, the project. And now look at you. You're a public speaker. Way to go, Diana. Way to go. So the question is there a spiritual principle or belief or statement that you turn to when you get lost, forget who you are? And I'm going to just give you a couple of thoughts. I could go on and on and on about these, but let me just give you a couple. How about this? I am a divine expression, whole, perfect, and complete. That's a good one. How about all that I am is God? Or, God lives and moves and has its being as me. I am one with the one. I know that I know that I know who I am. Anything like that, or all of those are perfect things to laser in your mind so that you have them available when you forget. I love this little story, quick little joke that says an auctioneer once was trying to sell a lot of household items on auction, and people weren't really bidding on them, and so he said to them, listen folks, this here stuff is like faith. You've got to get it when you don't need it in order to have it when you do. Right? So sayings like that, you got to get them in your head and in your heart when you don't need it, so that when you do, they will automatically come back. Alternatively, or in addition, if you do not have this book, it has a whole new cover now. This book is ancient. It's mine, ancient book. But This Thing Called You by Ernest Holmes, if you do not own this book, get it and have it available. And if there is a moment when you forget who you are, all you have to do is open it to any random page. It can be any random page, and look at the italics and pick a sentence out. The joy of God is my joy. There's one. The mind of God is manifesting in my life. There's another one. Or we could say, there is nothing in me that can dissipate my faith or dim its clear realization. Or how about this? I have complete faith and acceptance that all the statements I make will be carried out as I have believed. There are amazing statements in here that can carry you through any moment of not being sure who you are. The second part of that question was, how do I remember who I am when I'm angry or upset with myself or with someone else? Well, the advice is actually the same. Go back to those statements. 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 Remember, they are true of you, and they are true of whoever you happen to be angry with. And Ernest Holmes tells us in the textbook, we are to look for God in ourselves and in each other and love this God, forgetting all else. I love that. I love that piece of wisdom. So that's the answer to that question. And that will help us do life in a different way. The other question, which really touched me deeply, on the surface, it seems like a surface question, but I think there's something under it, and I'll talk to the under it. The question simply was this: will science of mind work for me? Will science of mind work for me? So remember how I said before, and we even experienced it a moment ago, that when Ernest Holmes in the Science of Mind textbook or in any book wants to really make sure he emphasizes a statement, he puts it in all caps. So I'm going to put this word in all caps. All right, here's the answer to the question. Will science of mind work for me? Yes! That was all capped. Yes! In fact, it is always working for you, whether you know it or not. Now, I think there's a deeper meaning to the question I'll get to in a second, but here's the deal. These principles are always working, always, whether or not you know anything about them, whether or not you come to this church or go to a Buddhist, a monastery, or you're Catholic. That your religion doesn't matter. Universal principle, the law is always at work. Ernest Holmes says the law is no respecter of persons, meaning it works for everyone exactly alike. And what that means is that what you plant into the law through your thinking and your beliefs and your feelings and your attitudes, you reap and manifest in your life. So science of mind principles are always working. But I suspect the question actually meant, will they work for me to create a better life? Am I worthy of having a better life? I see it happening for other people, but can I really apply these principles and have a life that's more joy-filled or more peaceful or more abundant or more healthy, whatever it is that you're looking for? I think that's probably the deeper place in the question. And that's the answer that I want to give through a second testimonial this morning. And Diana's actually could answer that question too. Yes, right there, Exhibit A, that these principles can work. But let me give you Exhibit B. And this is from someone who's not able to be here this morning, but sent me her testimonial in answer to this question. And I want to read it to you. And this is from Baby Lynn Issa. Many of you know Baby Lynn. If you were here last Sunday, you heard her sing. She is a member of Point of Light, which is an amazing 5-women group that she's in with her partner, her partner's sister, her best friend, and a third best friend. So there's 5 of them in this exquisite singing group, a cappella oftentimes singing group called Point of Light. I didn't remember Baby Lynn's full story. When she sent this to me, it took my breath away, actually. I don't know that I even knew her full story. But here is her story in response to the question, will science of mind work for me? She says, aloha. She's actually from Hawaii. My name is Baby Lynn Issa, and I want to share with you how CLF and the Science of Mind teachings have blessed and changed not only my life, but who I am in so many ways. My life before finding the Science of Mind teachings was full of fear, self-doubt, self-hatred, self-mutilation. You name it, I did it. And I felt it to a negative and morbid T. My childhood was darkened by rape, sexual abuse, physical and emotional abuse. From a very young age, 6, I was depressed. I self-mutilated by cutting and burning my flesh. I attempted suicide several times, almost succeeding several of those times. I suffered from perfectionism, and I was excruciatingly, painfully shy. I was in AA and NA by the age of 16. I was a psychiatric ward resident 8 times, from the ages of 16 to about 24 after my failed suicide attempts. I was lost, I was hurting, I was scared. Everything happens for a reason, although I didn't get it and quite believe it back then. I was raised in Hawaii, and in January of 2000, I found myself here in Arizona. And in 2001, I met someone who loved me for who she saw on the inside, my heart, my soul. She found CLF first and introduced me to Science of Mind shortly after that. It was a lot to take in at first. I was baptized and raised Catholic, and in later years became a born-again Christian. Hearing some of the Science of Mind philosophy was hard to wrap my head around. My previous religion helped keep me feeling down and guilty. That was my comfort zone. The answer to the question being asked here this morning, will Science of Mind work for me, is a matter of personal choice. Everything is choice. I chose to learn more about Science of Mind, and then I found that they resonated with my soul. Then I made a choice to take the Foundations class, and the rest is still unfolding today. It was not easy for me. I had a lot of work to do, and I still do. I talked about being painfully shy. At the CLF membership orientation meeting in 2008, they asked each person to state their name and say a little something about themselves. I hid behind Heather, my now wife, and she had to speak for me. This was the case in almost all group settings back then, and I was there. I can attest to that. We couldn't see her. She was hiding behind Heather. You know that woman now, right? I mean, you can't shut her up. Again, kind of like Diana. She's the jokester of Point of Light and of our choir. She raps. She's just this amazing, brilliant light. This woman was so shy, she hid behind her partner and had her partner speak for her. Today, she says, I am alcohol and drug-free. I have been tobacco-free for over 2 years, and I have been antidepressant-free since 2009. I do not have suicidal ideations of any kind anymore. I do not turn to self-mutilation when things get tough. I know that I am loved, loving, and lovable. I am in a singing group, Point of Light, and sing in front of audiences large and small. I recently spoke about these victories at a women's retreat that Point of Light facilitated. Yes, science of mind can work for you if you choose to work it. As in everything in life, you get what you put in it. None of the above happened overnight. I have to continuously remind myself of the truth of who I am. Some things I remind myself of are these. Thoughts become things. I get and become what I focus on. God is my source. All the good stuff is mine, and the supply is infinite. I am worthy of all beautiful, wonderful, and good things. Forgiveness of self and those who have harmed me is key to healing and moving forward. We are all one. You are me. I am you. And we are we. In the beginning and in the end, the choices are all ours. We have to actively participate. I want to leave you with my favorite part of the poem, After a While Comes the Dawn, by Veronica Schofstall. Plant your own garden and decorate your own soul instead of waiting for someone else to bring you flowers. Let's give baby Lynn a hand. So I think that answers the question. Will science of mind work for you? Oh, yeah. It will absolutely work for you if you work it. It will work for you. So a doorway to transformation. This is what spiritual education can do for us. And we are so happy and proud of the educational experience we've had over these past, I would think, 18 years. That's probably when the Minx Educational Center was birthed, about 18 years ago. We've done amazing things. And we are genuinely thrilled and excited at the next level that we're aspiring to as we move into being Creative Living University. And to bring our time to a close, I want to bring up one final student from a foundations class to share with you a poem that she wrote as part of her foundations class. So Nia Wynn, would you come on up? And I'm just going to say real quick, you might not recognize Nia. You're like, oh, who is this beautiful little girl up here? Nia lives way far away and doesn't come here to services. But I know Nia real well and convinced her a year ago or so. I didn't take much convincing to take foundations. And it was profound, and it was profound having you. And you are part of our community, even if you don't show up here every single Sunday, because it's a heck of a long drive.
Thank you.
Love you. Mwah.
Thank you. Okay, so the growth, or the amount of growth, and the gifts received during foundation are truly immeasurable. And I truly didn't want it to end because you want to continue growing and you just want that to be part of your life all the time. And I was so inspired during the class that I wrote a poem about how I felt and the emotions I was going through during the 10-week course. And I feel so honored to be here sharing it with you guys. So thank you. Forever changed is what I am. The simple breeze of the outside wind reminds me of so much more. The simplest of things expressing its own significant beauty. As I take a deep breath, filling my lungs with air, I can feel it. Surrounding me with love and light, something inside me ignites. Fire, the element itself, burning with a passionate eternal flame, I can see it. Beauty is all around me, within things I've never acknowledged before. My eyes have opened to a new world. Tears of joy dance alongside my cheeks at the vision that lies before me, realizing I am forever changed. I have emerged from the feelings of darkness, left all traces of fear behind. Releasing that deep breath I had taken earlier, I finally let go of it all, finally deciding to be free. I start to run full force to the meadow in front of me. I jump through the long grass with extreme exuberance. With a sudden moment of realization, I stop all movement. Looking at the magical particles that fill the air, it hits me. I have awoken. My heart now beats to the steady rhythm of the earth, strong and powerful, like the waves that brush along the ocean shore. Peace washes over me as I bask in divine light. Now lying in the grass, I give in. Feelings of oneness start to overcome me as the feelings of my physical body start to slip away. As my mind slowly detaches from physical reality, I get it. Drawing closer to the light that shines before me, I am here. I am the light that shines through the darkest of places, the love that fills the hearts of many. I am the seed that inspires those to shift, the pioneer breaking ground for change. I am one with the nature that surrounds me, unified with all consciousness around the world. I am one with the divine, the creator itself, connected to all of its creations. I am creation. I am existence, harmony, abundance, love. All that is, I am.
And so let's just breathe those beautiful words in. They really were a closing prayer. Let's just breathe them in and anchor them in a deep knowing that we are one with all that is. We are one with the I am presence, one with all life. And I affirm for each of us as we recognize that ever more deeply as we walk through life, that this life experience here on earth truly is one of profound awareness, of deep connection, of love, of joy, of abundance, of wholeness. I am so grateful for these teachings. I am so grateful for the way they work in my life and in all of our lives. I am so grateful for this community of beautiful, exquisite souls. I am so grateful for the teachings that we have to offer so that we may all expand and grow and learn about life, capital L, and doing life, lowercase l. So I affirm and know that as I stand in gratitude that we all walk through life a little bit lighter as a result of today. For that, I say thank you, God. And let us release this prayer together by saying, and so it is. Amen.